What's up, people? Okay, so we got Phil in the house.
It's going down, guys.
Stealth Nutrition. So if you guys want anything like awesomeness when it comes to coaching, come see Phil. I know, he's pretty busy, so you guys might have to get on a waiting list by now.
Nah, just come in.
And he got a baby, so he's real busy. So. All right, so we're gonna go over variations of the push-up. So you can cover the push-up for so many different things. And the reason we wanna cover the push-up is because we got so many people obsessed with machines and dumbbells and bench press and how much can you bench press, including we know one coach who can bench press a lot, but probably can't get up to 40 push-ups.
Not even close.
So, not even close. He'd be gassed out and probably have a heart attack. So at that point, what we want to do is make sure you can still do a push-up, because like when it comes down to it, you got to push yourself off the ground somehow, especially when you're doing the freaky deaky. It's just like, you're doing push-ups. All right, so those are CrossFit push-ups.
Yeah.
All right, so Phil,
speed.
show me the basic standard push-up that you see most clients go through.
Okay, so most clients that you're going to go through, for me, the standard push-up you're going to see most people do is going to be mainly a chest-focused push-up when it comes down to it. So you're going to take a little bit of a wider palm position, about slightly outside your shoulder width. And where you're going to lead, or where you're lining these wrists up, is going to have a lot to do where the stress is going to be, because that's going to dictate your upper arm path, right?
Right. When he's talking about his wrists, is they going to be higher? Are they going to be lower? Are they going to be here? Or are they going to be more towards there? Right. Exactly.
So I like for my palm, my wrist to be, well, not directly under my shoulders, but in line with my shoulders right there. And then, as I'm talking on the conventional side, I want to start to lead with my elbows. First off, like Craig was saying before, is screwing your hands into the floor and kind of externally rotating your humerus should be able to put a little bit more stress on the chest for you.
Think about a little bit elbows forward.
Yeah, so this way?
Yep. Perfect.
Then we're going to go ahead and lead with those elbows coming down to where you keep that tension on your chest. You don't want to come all the way to the floor.
No.
Because that's going to be a passive range of motion. So I want to keep an active range of motion on my chest. I want to make sure that I keep my glutes tight, my quads tight, my abs tight, and make sure I pull my shoulders down and then engage that chest, keeping those humeruses externally rotated.
So, and how are your hands? Like, are they squeezing in?
Yeah.
We're going chest focused. So what he wants to do is he wants to create the intention of trying to pull his hands together.
Yep.
Right.
Trying to shove them
in. Keep the tension. I like what you said about coming down partially. So if you want to hit that push up again real quick. So glutes tight, abs tight, all that stuff. So he's only coming down to about right here. Anything more than that is going to leak into his outside shoulder, right? Bam, right there. That's all shoulder tension. His chest is lost tension. Yep. So right there is where he's going to go. So he's just going to stay in that partial movement and rep that out to get a chest pump. So whether you're warming up, or you're post-exhausting, pre-exhaust, post-exhaust, either one of those, you basically want to stay in that groove.
Yep. Well, and again, it's all active range of motion, and that's what I like to do if it's hypertrophy for the main part. If you're trying to stress your chest, stress your chest. Don't just stress your triceps and your shoulders and all that other shit. But if you're trying to do a functional push-up and you want to hit all of them, then hit all of them. But stay tight through your core and make sure that you got a good stability when it goes through it.
Yep. So let's talk about the functional push-up. Okay, so functional push-up side, let's go back into where your position was. Okay, so what I really want to exacerbate here is his position here is great. We want to keep his hips a little higher, because what's going to happen is he's going to lean forward. Now, his glutes are on. I want to pull his belly button into his spine and create a little bit of tension. So you can see that nice little term now. So now you see his wrists are lined up with his shoulders again. Now, most people, just go ahead and do a push-up for me. Just back down. Yep, there we go. So what we're seeing here is if you come look at the angle of this forearm, pretty good, right? So what we want is we want more of a 90 degrees. So what he wants to do is actually fall forward just a bit more. So he wants to come into about that position right there. You see how that's 90 degrees perfectly? Isn't that nasty?
Yeah.
All right, so again, we want to correct that. Oh, there we go, glutes are on. Cool, so this is going to make a lot of people just stumble out of their position and pop back up out of that, and then screw those elbows in, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, so that's a big key we want to look at too. So one more, keep those elbows nice and tight. All right, fall forward a little bit on that push-up, keep everything nice and tight, Good, and then screw those elbows back in the floor.
Yeah, that elevates you back up right away.
Right
you
there.
Come down, you're like, whoop.
Yep. So this is for military, CrossFit, anybody who's looking for reps. This is getting the most amount of muscles activated in the same position, so you can use all of them, so none of them are fatigued first. So if you're gonna do like a chest-based push-up, save that for hypertrophy or pre-exhausting, okay? So if you're gonna wear out your chest, you're not gonna get as many reps. Okay, so now we can go more in the triceps base as well, cool? So what we wanna look at is the same kind of thing. I just wanna honestly bring my grip in a little bit more, and then I wanna think about using my triceps. So instead of lowering with my chest, I'm actually gonna put my tension into my triceps. I'm gonna close the angle a little bit more, and then I'm gonna squeeze with the triceps, cool? So I'm not thinking about necessarily pushing up, it's actually a squeeze. I'm literally trying to just hinge my elbow, right, while keeping good position. Now, I can increase or decrease the intensity either way, so I'm coming through here, close that elbow out. I can also kick my butt up a little more, close that elbow out, or I can bring it to my knees and then close that elbow out as well. So at that point, the triceps are getting all the stress. And my chest hasn't really felt the pump at all yet. Yeah. That's like a couple good static push-ups.
Yeah.
Cool? Okay, so now let's talk about other variations. So let's say if we want to actually work lats and back.
Okay.
Right? What's the difference going to be on that one?
Lats and back. Obviously, your hand position. Obviously, your humerus position. Where's that going to be at?
Humerus position, and then also just spreading the floor is a big one too. Because interestingly enough, when I actually have a lot of beginning clients, I'm like, okay, do a push-up. Where do you feel that? Most of them say in their back.
Yeah, pretty much 90% of the time. That's
okay. All right, so like zero chest pump. Okay, it's literally. This is the only difference. Cool. So if I want to stress my back, what I can do is I can come through here and spread out and then squeeze the lats through. And that's taking everything along the back side and making that do the work. So if you think about it, if you want to get the back and the triceps and the chest exhausted, you can go from a chest-based pull-up, push-up to a back-based pull-up, maybe reverse those since the back muscle is a little bit bigger, and then switch into a tricep, and you don't even need a gym to do any of that shit.
And that's hard as hell, man. Like, what we were talking about earlier, doing a push-up, if you want to do very functional, hit everything, it's kind of like doing an RKC plank with a push-up and hitting a tricep extension at the same time. So make sure that you're just not doing push-ups and bending your elbows. That's not the goal.
Right, hit that plank real quick.
Yeah, go through it. So if we're gonna do that.
So look at this plank. So look, his elbow position's fine. Now all he has to do is literally elevate to his hands. His body position's on point, everything's tucked, glutes are on. Now he's just gonna go up, bring those elbows hands back a little bit more where his elbows were landed, and then boom, we're falling forward into a functional push-up. Not hard at all. So he's a little bit back on that. For functional, we want to lean forward more.
Got it. Like this way?
Let that body fall.
Oh, I got you.
Yep. Ooh, even more. Yeah. Oh, there it is. And then again, his abs and his glutes like to tumble a little bit. Yep. So again, fall forward. And then keep those tight. Bring that up. There we go. Shit, there it is.
There it is.
Boom. Push back up. Elbows through. Okay. So again, the elbows, I don't want you to really think about the elbows, but it's a nice key because if I'm going to keep my elbows going through, so I'm like, okay, elbows go forward, that's going to create shoulder stability. That's what we're really looking for in that position. Also, it's going to turn on the chest, like Phil said. So it's getting that shoulder stability really cranked, falling forward, getting that whole pattern to start kicking into motion, and then pushing through. And then again, keeping the abs tight, keeping the glutes tight, keeping everything else rolling as well.
Yep. Because why not?
Because why not? Because all those muscles need to be activated somehow. All right. So now what we can do is we can learn to degress and progress depending on where you're at in your workout or where you're at in terms of like how you're starting, okay? So a nice, awesome way to do it is right here on a bench press, or a bench, I should say, or you can find a bench press. I don't know if they made a rule about like no curls in the squat rack yet, but they're probably like, don't do push-ups on the bench, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like, same thing, what we want to look at. Go ahead and pop that.
You want to do it this way?
Let's go
this better.
Head that way.
This way? Okay.
Yep. Cool, so feet elevated, he's real nice and close to this, so maybe I didn't think that through. But again, at the same time, so we can actually kick his hands back a little bit more, so we can work a little bit more of the upper chest, but this is also gonna make a lot of the movement way more difficult. So notice his position, he's not dipped. A lot of people wanna dip, like bam, that's what they're gonna do when their feet up is on a bench, but we actually wanna make sure this angle, not so much there, Bill. He's been doing it working out, so it's like, all right, so the line is a little bit more symmetrical there, okay? So at this point, symmetrical. Anyway, go ahead and drop down, good, and then push back through in the chest, just like that. So again, he's falling forward again. I want him to kiss his nose up around here. Okay. Yep, up around that point. Again, we want to keep that tight. Yep, there we go.
Damn.
I know, right? I'm giving Phil a workout here. Yep, and bam, just like that. Good, so he's thinking about a little bit, if you think about it, you're not going up and down at all. You're actually coming back and forth. Cool? So now, let's bump into the easy one. This is mine.
Yeah, I'm the elevator up top.
Right? So again, if we're looking at functionality, a lot of people are going to tuck their chest. Look at my elbow line. It just completely closes off. And right now I can feel the pressure up in the top of my traps and my rhomboids and then my neck. Okay, so those things are actually starting to pinch here and there. I kind of don't want that to happen. All right, so what I'm going to do is lean forward. I'm going to come up on the tops of my toes back here, and then I'm going to fall forward. So my sternum is going to come right in between my hands versus my chest, right? So boom, it's going to come to here. And this also, if you want to move into like a plyometric push-up, so not the hardest, I should have made you do this. So what you want to do is bam, explode off and then catch. Lock those out and then catch with that, okay? So you can also do a little bit of rebound movement, a little bit of rebound, but that's gonna fatigue everything a lot quicker, so just like that. So again, the elbows are again screwing out, and that's gonna create that torque in my elbow and shoulder and really just pop out of that movement, which creates that explosivity that we want. I don't even know if that's a word.
It is now.
Okay. All right, so I think that covers it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think just basically, and correct me if I'm wrong too, is your humerus position is obviously going to dictate, and how close your humerus, your upper arm is to your body, or how far out is going to dictate what muscles it biases more,
right?
And how you initiate that too. Like you're saying, if you're going to dip forward and kiss your nose forward, that's going to initiate with some different muscles than just dropping straight down. But mainly, just keep everything tight and work your ass off.
And do it with intention, damn it.
Yeah.
There you go.
We good.